How's it going, everyone? I'm Landon with LMR.com. In this video, we're going to be taking a closer look at 5.0 Resto's window guide bushing bracket kits designed for the 1981 to 1993 foxbody Mustangs. So when it comes to restoring foxbody Mustangs, we've established one hell of a catalog of parts over the past 23 and a half years. Well, we've added to that offering yet again with these 5.0 Resto window guide bushing bracket kits. These are great for any Fox owner who is currently in the process of restoring the door glass or the convertible quarter glass components on their car. Taking a closer look at the brackets, they're all precisely laser cut from steel and then galvanized to help protect them from corrosion. Included with each kit are new window guide bushings and hardware. Now let's go ahead and take a look at each kit. The first kit is for the door glass for 1981 to 1993 coupe and hatchback cars. This kit will include 2 brackets, bushings, and hardware. We include a long bolt and nut with this kit because the factory setup utilized a solid rivet to secure the window guide bushing bracket to the main assembly. The next kit will fit the door glass for 1981 to 1988 T-top cars and 1983 to 1988 convertibles that were built before October of 1987. This kit includes 2 upper brackets, 2 lower brackets, bushings, and hardware. The third kit will fit the door glass for 1988 to 1993 convertibles built after October of 1987. This kit includes 2 brackets, bushings, and hardware. On the later model convertibles, we recommend that you go ahead and remove the door panel to check the shape of the window guide rod just to be sure you order the right kit. The third-party company that built the convertibles for Ford switched to an oval-shaped window guide rod after October of 1987. However, that doesn't always mean you have that particular style of window guide rod, so just double check before you order a kit. And the last kit is designed for the quarter glass on 1983 to 1993 convertibles. This kit includes 2 upper brackets, 2 lower brackets, bushings, and hardware. Now let's shift gears to the installation procedure. The steps for the door glass kits are very similar. Just make sure you pay attention to bracket orientation. We're going to show the steps for the door glass window guide bushing brackets on Project Blue Collar, which started life as a 1988 GT. The door glass kits require the removal of the door panel, and if you would like to see the dedicated videos on that process, check out the links in the description. For the convertible quarter glass window guide bushing brackets, we're only going to show the brackets and bushings getting replaced since we already covered the removal and installation steps of the guide rod in another video, and I'll link that in the description as well. That video explains the procedure of removing and reinstalling the guide rod, which is something you have to do in order to replace the window bushing brackets on convertibles. Because of the amount of work that's involved with removing the convertible quarter glass rod, I would recommend that you upgrade to the aluminum guide rod mounts if you are a previous owner haven't done it. And finally, I'll put a list of tools that I used and any applicable torque specs in the video description. So with the door panel removed from the door, carefully remove the moisture barrier. This car currently doesn't have one. Lower the door glass and ensure that it doesn't bottom out on the rubber bump stop. If it does, bring it back up just a touch. Loosen and remove the upper 7/16 nut securing the guide rod to the door frame. The lower 7/16 retaining nut is located underneath the door frame. Loosen and remove this nut as well. Wedge something that won't inflict damage in between the door frame and door glass. Gently pry the door frame away from the door glass and then carefully remove the guide rod. The guide rod does have some sharp areas, so just be careful not to make contact with the glass as it's going to scratch either the glass or the tint. Raise the window so you have access to the window guide bracket. If you're replacing an existing bracket, loosen and remove the 7/16 bolt. Then use a compact grinder or cutoff wheel to remove the lower section of the solid rivet. After that, you'll want to brace the window as best you can and then use a drift and hammer to drive out the rivet. Whatever you do, don't strike the drift very hard as you run the risk of breaking the glass. With the rivet out of the way, remove the existing bracket. Lower the glass just enough to remove the existing bushing from the upper bracket that's attached to the door glass. Go ahead and clean this up with some WD-40. Then you'll want to remove as much of the old grease from the arm roller guide as best you can. Finally, clean the guide rod with some WD-40 and a green scuff pad until it's nice and smooth. Wipe away the residue. Install one of the new window guide bushings in the upper bracket, and then take one of the new brackets and make sure the slotted hole is positioned towards the front of the door. Loosely install the short bolt. Pass the long bolt through the bracket from the bottom and loosely install the nut. This hardware will get tightened at the end of the installation. Install a new window guide bushing. Lubricate the contact pads on both bushings with white lithium grease or a grease with PTFE. Use this same grease and apply a thin film to the guide rod and the arm roller guide. Before reinstalling the guide rod, make sure the glass is still positioned within the run channel at the front of the car. Carefully pry open the door frame and reposition the guide rod. Ensure that it passes through both guide bushings and that both studs pass through their respective locations in the door frame. Reinstall both nuts and loosely tighten. Raise the window all the way up. Now you can fully tighten the 2 retaining nuts securing the guide rod to the door frame and the hardware securing the bracket. Now you can go ahead and raise and lower the glass to ensure it's situated properly. If it's needed, make small adjustments to the window guide bushing bracket. You can go ahead and repeat these same steps for the other side, and that completes the door glass portion. Switching gears to the convertible quarter glass. Like I said before, check out the quarter window guide rod mount video first. With the bracket assembly on a workbench, remove the guide rod from the bracket assembly. Loosen and remove the 2 retaining bolts from the upper bracket. Remove the bracket. Do the same for the lower bracket. Now would be a good time to clean up the components. I use some naphtha and a stiff bristled brush. For the guide rod, repeat the process that I mentioned previously. WD-40 and a green scuff pad until it's nice and smooth. Of course, wipe away the residue. Dry the parts and locate 2 new brackets. These are location specific and it's pretty easy to tell which ones go where. Install a new guide bushing. Position the lower bracket into place and loosely tighten the bolts. Do the same for the upper bracket. Lubricate the contact pads on each bushing with white lithium grease or a grease with PTFE. Lubricate the stud for the pivot arm. Now you can reference the other video for the reinstallation procedure, and then you can repeat the same steps for the other side. After that, you're good to go. All right, people, it's gonna wrap things up. As always, I hope you find great value in our videos, and more importantly, I hope that you appreciate our commitment to the foxbody Mustang. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way you don't miss a future upload. And until we catch you in the next one, y'all know what to do for all things 1979 to 1993 foxbody Mustang. Keep it right here with the real enthusiasts, LMR.com.